Hey, this is Barry Canada from L3 Success and LunchtimeRecordings.com. It's Saturday in the ROK, and it's time for another lesson. Today we're going to be talking about self-reliant, or becoming self-reliant. Specifically, we'll be talking about debt-free, which is the 8th step of this 8-step plan of becoming self-reliant. And actually, I'll read through these quickly for you. Step number 1 is you must become a nonconformist. Step number 2, you must stand for and defend principles. Step number 3, you must insist on being authentic. Step number 4, you must surrender unnecessary dependence. Step number 5, you must confront and overcome obstacles. Step number 6, you must work and produce results. Step number 7, you must take full advantage of educational opportunities. And step number 8, you must become free from debt. Okay, and specifically, the free from debt one is what I wanted to discuss today. I'll tell you that these 8 steps came from a 100-day challenge that I took at the beginning of the year, and this was like day number 7 of that challenge. And this is one that really kind of stuck with me, because it's one of those lessons where it really applies to, my experience, my background, where I'm at today, where I'm going to be at in the future. And it applies to many of us. There's a lot of us out there who have lived, most of our adult life, in debt. And with debt, there's no freedom, there's no enjoyment. You're always, thinking about, okay, when I get paid, I got to pay this off, or I got to pay that off, or you get those envelopes from the creditors, and they're telling you, that your bills are overdue, and they're going to assign the bill to a collection agency, or whatever the case is, and those things that's not healthy living. You can't live, with all that stress all the time, with your debts and stuff. It causes confrontations, between, you and your spouse, or your family, or, if maybe you a close friend, maybe you owe them some money or something, or you're borrowing from them. Debt is just not good. It's a form of slavery, pretty much. And so is work, but debt, it's not a comfortable living. It's not the best way to live your life. And it'll just gray you out, and it'll just stress you out, and it'll just drag you. You have to learn to become debt free if you're going to be reliant, self-reliant. If you're going to be able to enjoy life, you're going to be able to enjoy the freedoms of life, be able to travel, be able to just do anything that you want to do. You have to get rid of the debt first. Now there's plenty of programs out there, and you can Google YouTube and get a wealth of information on how to get out of debt. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you that you just have to do it. You have to set your mind to it. You got to do it. Starts in here. It starts with a mind shift. Okay. You have to understand that, that in order to enjoy life, you have to change the way you think. Okay. That's the first step. And once you realize that, then you can start and make the appropriate steps towards taking care of your debts and stuff. And so, that's the steps you have to take is to get out of debt. A little quote here: debt, noun, an ingenious substitute for the chain and the whip of the slave driver, Ambrose Bierce. And that's exactly what it is. It's a form of slavery. And until you learn how to take care of it, then you'll just be a slave to it forever. I know when I was growing up, I never knew anything nobody taught me about money. I worked and did some little, jobs of picking up trash or mowing lawns or whatever it was to earn a little bit of money just to spend it on, something that I wanted. I was never taught to save anything. I went into the military and I stayed broke, for the first few years in the military when I was overseas in Germany, and I drank most of those days. Got back to the States, and it was a continuous cycle. It's just kind of what I knew. Make enough money just to be able to spend it all. Okay. And then wait for the next paycheck. If I spent it all too soon, then of course, then I had to deal with the fact that I had to wait, for the next paycheck to come in. Fortunate for me, being in the military, 3 hots in a cot, I had housing, I had, the defects and all that stuff, in the younger younger days of my military career. And then it became just a little bit more difficult as you moved on, and you moved out of the barracks, and you were in, housing, and you were responsible for paying for your own bills and stuff. Still government giving you the money for it, but you were responsible for making sure it was done. And I know a lot of people that, were using that money for something else, and they end up having some issues with their utility bills and all this other crazy stuff. But it's a vicious cycle, and it's something that, that should be taught in school. It should be, because most people have no idea of how to invest, how to save money, how much to save, when to save it, what assets, they need to be buying. So again, it'll go on forever. I'm in my 40s, and this is stuff that I'm just now beginning to understand, is that I have to make changes myself in order to get my family out of debt. When I was sitting in the hospital around this time 3 months ago, that was one of the things that was in my mind, was like, if I had left, if I hadn't made it, what type of situation would I have put my family in? I mean, yeah, I have life insurance and all that good stuff, but that doesn't last for long. And so I was just thinking about, the bills and things that we have, in my name, would become the responsibility of my spouse, and so, I mean, that really weighed heavy on me, thinking about that when I was sitting in the hospital, and I was like, okay, what have I done? I was expecting to be, at a better place, this time in my life. And I hadn't achieved that, I haven't achieved it yet. So, I mean, those are just some of the things I was thinking about. And that's why this one is so much more important to me. And it really hits home, because it really applies to my situation. And again, it applies to a lot of people's situation. It applies to a lot of my family members' situation who are struggling as well. So, but you have to take the steps necessary with the mindset first to understand that, hey, you got to get out of the debt, and you got to find ways to get out of debt. If you have to, skip a few meals, some of us stand to lose a few pounds. If you need to get rid of the cell phone, internet connections, whatever you need to cut back on in your budget in order to start paying more towards those debts that you have, so that you can get rid of them for good. And then you can start to enjoy the fruits of life. Okay. I'll put some resources in the some links in the resources box below, so you can kind of, have some places to go to in order to, find debt management, business opportunities, and, structuring budgets and all that good stuff. And I'll find some things to put under here once I put it on the website, and that'll help you out. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope that one day, if this applies to you, that you'll be able to live life, to the fullest, without debt being an issue in your life. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. This is Barry Canada from L3 Success and lunchtimerecordings.com. See you again tomorrow with another lesson. Take care, and God bless.